Good morning, folks. Thanks for joining me today. It is Wednesday, the 18th of June, 2025. It's about 8:14 here in Chicago. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Just give me a quick shout on the YouTube live chat, if you will, or in the Convergent Trading Discord in the lounge to let me know that sound is all good because I can never tell. Um, anyway, so there's a lot going on today, mainly geopolitical pressures as well as the FOMC. Let's take a look at the pre-market summary sheet from Convergent Trading. A nice I should be back. Refresh your browser. Here, refresh. No, sorry about that. It picked the wrong display. It picked up my 4K TV instead of the side stream. So I had to pause it for a second to fix that. And then YouTube had a hard time restarting. So here we are. This is the pre-market summary sheet. We'll work these kinks out, start a little bit earlier as well. Here's the pre-market summary sheet. And so FOMC decisions due today. The overall condition of the market is mixed. The risk posture is mixed. We had a couple of things overnight. U.S. president's considering a range of options for Iran, including a possible U.S. strike on the country. The president called for the unconditional surrender of Iran. Kind of an interesting position that the U.S. is taking in that they're asking a country who is under attack to surrender. Very odd. I don't know that that's happened before, but not sure how that's going to play out because it's not like Russia coming into Ukraine or Iran is coming into some other country and they're pushing it back. They're asking it to surrender. It's in its own territory. So this seems like it's not getting very much attention. Crude has popped and it's holding these higher prices, but it just seems like a no-win situation for anybody with this. We'll see how it shakes out. The Israel and Iran have gone back and forth with the rhetoric. Khomeini came out and said that they will retaliate and so on. So there's a lot of propaganda going on from both sides. Multiple ECB speakers today. We have several popping into the calendar. And then we have the FOMC rate decision at 2 p.m. Eastern and a press conference at 2:30. UK core inflation came out lower than expected. UK EU inflation came in line. And U.S. initial jobless claims came in at, let's see, initial claims came in exactly in line, 245,000. We did have building permits and housing starts. They came in slightly hotter today or slightly weaker today than expected. But the big one is, of course, the FOMC today at 2 p.m. Eastern, as mentioned. The auction, the ES overnight status is we have a multi-distribution profile. The volume's a bit light, 141,000 versus 190 or so thousand yesterday. The inventory is 53% long, and the range is 45 points, basically in line with yesterday and well within down here. If you look at the overnight stats, 1 sigma or the first standard deviation of the range is up to 51. So this is a pretty normal day pretty normal day in terms of range and volume. Point of control at 60.45, currently trading at 60.48. So the market's just sitting kind of in balance. If you look, we added a couple things here on the screen. We added RVol and RRAN. Some of you may have seen this chart posted by me in the past. It's pulling the data from this table, this quote page. These are important. They tell us what RRAN is relative, relative range. And what's it relative to? It's relative to this exact moment's average from the last 20 sessions or last month. So at this exact moment, 8:22 Central, the average for the last month was we've got 77% of the average for the range from the last month. Okay, and our vol is the same thing but for volume. So what 80% says for the ES is that we've achieved about 80% of the volume average over the last month. And what this is telling us, where this is important, is it tells us what's active, what's busy, what's expanding, or what is getting ahead of its average, which is not really a very good description of the market action, but it's still giving us some pretty good information, right? Things are pretty light is what this is saying. The activity in range and in volume is pretty light. So this is an early indication to just kind of chill today, take it easy. There's nothing really big going on. Crude is pushing its volume right now, but it's got a lot to do with what's happening between Israel and Iran, and so that's where we stand. So that's that. That's the summary of what's going on overall. The market is in a holding pattern. Let's take a look at the shots. Okay, so let's start out with the ES, just looking at the profile in general. And what we have here is a market that has, it's gapped up and it's pushed higher and it pushed into the 61, whatever. And then it pulled back on Friday on this whole thing with this conflict. And then we popped back up. As we talked about yesterday, we had a bit of a driving behavior, but that really fizzled out into the 6109, 6110. If you recall yesterday, was it yesterday? I don't remember. Yeah, if you recall, I talked about the fact that we don't want to look for shorts. I'm not interested in shorts yesterday, given the fact that the open is just 4 ticks from the low. This has driving behavior. It moved out of range, and we left this excess. And so yesterday I talked about 60.80, and I kind of drew it on the screen here, if you recall. 60.80 to 60. Let me shut this down. 60.80 to 60.82. 60.80 to 60.82, and the idea here is that any push into that excess lows top, remember we finished up higher, we left an excess in the morning, we had some driving behavior, basically a P-shaped profile. Any push into 60.80 to 60.82, if you watch yesterday's video, you will see I said that I'm looking to fade that. I'm looking to fade that. I'm looking for that to fail. That's one of the key scenarios. And what we had is just that. We pushed right into 60.81. Initially, we pushed a little bit lower, 79 or so, and it looked like it was about to give it up. Can't see these. Let me enhance these bars a little bit for you so you can see them more clearly. So you could see these bars coming in, 60.80. Then you had an inside bar right there. And then you had a push into 60.81, another opportunity to push to look for the short side. You could see this bar open down here, went up, rejected right away, and then it started to kind of walk back up, and we had a spike retest, fail on a longer time frame. And as I was telling folks in the in the Discord chat, that really we're looking for this thing to continue to push to 60.50. So yesterday, the big play, again, if you watch yesterday's video, is going to say, look, I'm looking for it to push to 60, 80, 82, and I'm looking for 60.50 as a target. And we managed to get all the way down to 60.30, 60.30. So that was check for yesterday's action. So what does that mean for today? For today, what this is doing is it's really balancing in a wide range. So because we see this balancing in a wide range, what I'm going to do is generate a profile, is to generate a profile that encompasses this entire area. And that's what we call who knows what it's called, when we encompass a profile in an area to see what the auction is doing within that area. What is that called? Do you recall? Unfortunately, YouTube is just so slow and laggy that I cannot wait for your answer. Otherwise, I'm just going to be sitting here staring at the screen. So I'm going to look to go down to where I can incorporate the entire range. That pretty much happens right here. 8:30 is the open, and I'm going to carry this forward, and we're going to create a composite. People have said it, composite. And what this composite is telling us is that we have a point of control now at 60, 65. This is kind of the immediate magnet area, and you can see that we've developed a triple distribution, and as we move from one distribution into the next, it creates opportunity in these low volume nodes, because if we slip through a low volume node, the expectation is we're likely to test a high volume node, and if the high volume node doesn't hold and is still cheap, we would slip through to go to the next low volume node, and so on and so forth. And so the auction kind of bounces and tests and retests these areas. And you could see that today we are below the 60-50 right here. I can pretty much draw a line right through here, which incorporates the single prints from yesterday. And that zone that I just drew there will show you that there's quite a bit going on in this area, right? We have tops and bottoms that are happening within this area, or low volume nodes in this area. That's what I'm watching out for today. I'm looking for, how does the open treat the 60-50? The open's in 10 seconds. How does it treat the 60-50? The expectation, given that we're starting to look like we're one time framing down, the open, here's the open, we're likely to push through the 60-50, fall through. A retest of the 60-50 from below after checking it is likely to set us off on a short, and we're looking for 60-17. 60-17 is the area we're looking to test, which is the low of that news day, and that's the primary scenario for today. You know, I'm going to cut it off here. I need to pay attention to what's going on. I want to remind you, it is FOMC. Take it easy. Keep your powder dry. Save your bullets for when the FOMC announcement happens. Don't try to trade it. Wait till it passes, and then jump in once a trend is established. The FOMC generally unfolds in 3 waves. We have this crazy reaction, then we have the counter reaction, and then we have the move. And that could be in either direction. It's just the sustained move kind of happens on the third run in general, not always. Again, past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. I wanted to cover NQ and CL, but I started kind of late, had some more technical issues this morning, but starting to refine. What should you expect from these trader bites? Here's what you should expect. expect the unexpected is all I have to say. I'm doing these because I've been away from the scene for about 14 months working on some special projects for different entities that I own, and my goal is to kind of get back into the swing of things. I cannot do these regularly. These are very demanding. To create these is a lot for me, especially since I start my day at 5 a.m. And what I intend to do is try to get you one or two of these a week. This Friday is a holiday. There's not going to be a pre-market summary sheet tomorrow or Friday. I'm not going to do a video on Friday. My kids are off and I have to watch them. I have to take care of them. So I'll be working from home probably. So I won't do one, but I'll try to get, at least Monday, Wednesday, try to get them on those days. The best way to know when this is coming is, of course, to follow on Twitter, to subscribe to subscribe to the YouTube channel and set alerts on there. And then, of course, if you're a CT member, you're always going to get ample notice in the Head Trader channel that a video or a broadcast is about to start. So you can find it there if you're a member of Convergent Trading. If you're interested in that, it's convergenttrading.com. Good luck, and I'll catch you whenever I catch you. See you guys.